Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Miss Kiriga, for those who don't know me, and kindly for those who are joining me for the first time, like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you. So today I want to do a video about my experience with Qatar Airways as a cabin crew. So ever since I was a very young girl, I have always had this passion of being a cabin crew. And I remember when I cleared my secondary education, I went to Kenya Airways to inquire about me joining the cabin crew. And for the Kenya Airways, you have to go through 2 months training at their Pride Center. And actually that's a process of its own, because you apply online. After applying online, you pay the application fee. After the application fee, you're given a date for the interview. The interview consists of some stages. There's the first test, you get tested your height. There's English test, and there's also a panel interview. And after that, you can be able to join and train for the 2 months. So after going through the whole process, unfortunately I was not able to join the training, and I left it at that. So after getting a job, some of my colleagues would joke about me looking like a cabin crew. They would even tell me to welcome them on board. So I remember this one morning, I got a WhatsApp text from a friend who is also a colleague. Thank you, Anne, so much. And she had sent 2 links, one for Emirates and the other one for Qatar Airways. And she told me that Qatar Airways were recruiting in Nairobi at the moment. And she told me that I can give it a try. So that morning when I get to work, I applied for both airlines, and after like 4 hours of applying, I got a notification from Qatar. They sent an email telling me to upload photos in official or business attire, which at the moment I didn't have. So that evening I passed through a studio and took my professional photos. The following day I uploaded, and I was told that my application was received successfully, and if I was lucky and get shortlisted, they would send me an invite for the assessment day. And also there was a point where they said that I can be able to track my application online to know which stage my application is. So every day I was checking, I could log in and check the progress. So after a few days, I logged in and my status was pending interview. At that moment, I knew that I would get an invite for the assessment day, which I did get after I think 2 to 3 days. I did get an invite saying that I should go to Hilton Hotel near the airport. I think from the time I received that email to the interview date, it was like two weeks apart. So I had 2 weeks to prepare for the interview. I googled about Qatar Airways, I joined WhatsApp groups for the same, and I was so excited. I was so excited for that opportunity, because even getting shortlisted was a step. So on that day, I think it was on Wednesday, if I remember, and Qatar Airways were doing interviews in 2 sessions. There was the morning session, which was 8 a.m., and the afternoon session, which was 2 p.m. So I happened to be on the first batch, that is the 8 a.m. batch. And I remember that day I woke up so early. I think I woke up at 4 a.m. I applied my perfect makeup and I went to Hilton near the airport. I got there at 7:45 a.m. The interview was for 8 a.m. So when I got there, there were a lot of applicants. We were 80 of us the morning batch, and even the afternoon they had 80 applicants. So per day, you can imagine they were interviewing around 160 applicants per day. And the process was like happening daily. You can imagine 160 people per day for like a month or a week. So when we got there, we were given a number to stick on ourselves, and you were supposed to carry with you your passport picture and the copy of that invite. So you had to print the invite and attach your CV and a copy of that invite. So after we were given the numbers to stick on ourselves, we were led to a waiting hall where the interview would take place. And the first 10 to 15 minutes, we got a brief about the airline, about the life in Qatar. From the presentation, I was so eager, I was so excited to join the Qatar Airways because the benefits are so good. I really wished I could just make it and join the airline. So the first 10 to 15 minutes, we were briefed about the life in Qatar, about the Qatar airline, about the destinations they fly to, about the benefits and all those. Then the second part of the interview was the English test, which was, I think it was around, I can't remember the exact number of the questions, but you were supposed to do that English test within 30 minutes. But I would say it's a very tricky test. You have to be very careful because the answers are almost similar. You have to be extra careful, but it's something you can manage. So after the 30 minutes of the test, interviewers requested that we take 10 to 15 minutes break so that we can give them time to mark the test. So after 10 to 15 minutes, we were then called back to the hall, and we were told that there will be the first elimination. So they called out some names, and they were told that they can walk outside and wait for the interviewers outside. So after the names were called, the rest of us remained in the hall. And the interviewers came back and told us that we should not panic, that we have passed the English test. In the next session, or the next part of the interview, was the one-on-one interview. You can imagine 80 people one-on-one. It took a lot of time, but it was fast. So remember the number that we were given when we came in, the number that were given to stick on ourselves. So they were using those numbers to call out names, and if you get called, you go to the room where the one-on-one interview was taking place. And the first thing we did when you walked in the room is go and do the arm reach. The arm reach is 212 centimeters high, and you're supposed to touch that line, the 212 centimeters reach line. So for the girls, we were supposed to walk in, remove their shoes, and reach the 212 centimeters. But for the girls, you can tiptoe, but you have to remove your shoes. But for men, you are not supposed to tiptoe, but you reach the arm reach with your shoes on. So unfortunately, that 212 centimeters is quite high for some people, because there were so many people that didn't reach the 212 centimeters, and unfortunately they could not continue with the interview, so they were left to go. After reaching the 212, they pick a paper and read out loud what's written on the paper. and you have like 1 or 2 minutes to talk about what's written. Like my question was, what makes someone beautiful? So I had 1 to 2 minutes to talk about that. And after that, the next step is to declare your scars. This is the point where most people were disqualified, because Qatar Airways are so strict with scars. Yani, I don't know if they want angels. On a light note though. So after talking about what's written on the paper, you're supposed to declare your scars. Even the tiniest scar, you should declare it. And there was one interviewer had a form. They could note down where the scar is located, how big the scar is, and you're supposed to declare, even though the scar is very tiny or it's somewhere that it is not visible, you're supposed to declare it. Because if you don't declare and you make it to the final interview and you make it to Doha and you see the scar, you have high chances of being fired. Yeah, they are very strict. So after the declaration, that is where many of people were disqualified, because even the tiniest scar that was it. So after the declaration and everything, you are required to go back to the waiting hall. Imagine, this is the worst point, because remember, we were 80 of us, and like me, I was number 9 to be called for the one-on-one. You can imagine I have to wait for the last person, that is number 80, to be interviewed one-on-one so that I can know my fate and I can leave. It took some hours, but yeah, that was so annoying, I must say, because you have to wait till the last person is interviewed. So after the last person gets interviewed, we come back to the hall, and after coming back to and after the last person was interviewed, the interviewers came back to the hall, and again they called out some numbers of the people that were selected to proceed to the final interview. And the rest of us, I can say from the 80 people in our batch, only 2 made it to the final. You can imagine how heartbreaking that was, but it's okay, we move on regardless. So that is my experience. I would say that for anyone wishing to join Qatar Airways or to go for the interview, you must be very confident. You must have a flawless skin. Take care of your skin. And always, you must be polite. You must know how to approach people and engage with people, because Qatar Airways is the best airline in the world, so they look for the best candidates for their cabin crew role. Yeah, so that's all, and I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll be doing more videos to just educate people about what to expect. And I'm not giving up. I'll try again, and maybe next time I'll be lucky enough to join the cabin crew and to make my dream come true.